Hey everybody, we're back. It's XL 10 Minute Leaders live on YouTube, sharing with you stories from people from around the world dealing with different areas. We've talked about technology, we've talked about business, society. We're going to talk a bit about mental health today. So I'm glad to be heading to New Delhi, India to welcome our next guest, Girish Shukla. Girish, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Ram. Lovely to be here.
Fantastic to have you here. What we're going to do is going to ask you a bunch of questions and dive into your chosen area, your writing, your work in the short time that we have together. Are you ready, Girish? We'll get going on 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, let's do this then. The 10 minutes starts now. First question is, what does it say on your business card?
It says digital marketer and author. However,
Mm.
going forward, I would only want author.
Okay. So you author, being an author, writing is your passion, your calling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, I was a software engineer. I worked as a software engineer for 2 years, and then I shifted to being a copywriter just so because I could write better. Because I thought if I'm in an environment where I get to write every day, I'll be
Mm.
writing my debut book better, and that was the idea. And I believe it has worked out. My debut book came out last year. It has received good reviews from people around the world, and hopefully,
Okay, and your book
my
is?
writing. My book is called Maroon in a Sky of Blue.
Mm. Okay, and what's that title about? What does it mean?
So basically, it's about the book is about an introverted teenager who loses his girlfriend in a car crash, and how he deals with that loss. Uh, on the surface, seems he's getting better. He's dealing with the loss, the death of his girlfriend. But like in the end, you find out that he wasn't actually getting better. He was getting worse by the day.
Mm. Why did you want to talk about that subject? Why is it something personal to you that you've experienced?
Not necessarily. In fact, when I was writing the book, I did not experience it personally. Uh, uh, I have spent a lot of time in the hospital, uh, 10 years from like around in 2008, 2009. I was really sick, maybe, and I've seen pain around people who struggle with the death of their loved one because they could not find the correct treatment methods in time. Maybe they lacked something. So I have seen that, although I hadn't experienced that when I thought of writing this book.
Mm.
Maybe it was just seeing this experience made me, write this book.
Mm. And do people in India talk openly about this? What's the forum like for talking about trauma and PTSD and so on?
Uh, when I think when I started writing this book, and I started writing this book in 2013, a few celebrities were coming out and talking about the struggle that they were facing with their mental health, and that included PTSD, that included an array of mental health disorders. Uh, and I think with COVID, people are more openly talking about different mental health struggles, especially anxiety that has been induced due to COVID. A lot of people
Mm.
have been suffering from sleeplessness because I think it's probably because there's so much anxiety around the certain uncertainty of the future. I
Mm.
believe it has gotten better, especially in bigger cities, but I believe it'll take a long time before whole of India is talking about this and treating mental health disorder as a disease.
Mm. What about yourself, Girish? What's your superpower if you have one? Maybe not software engineering.
So it is not my software engineering. I've forgotten everything about my software engineering degree, I believe. But I believe like the traumatic experience that I had when I was suffering from this life-threatening condition in 2008, where I had experienced liver cirrhosis,
Mm.
and the only way that they could cure it was through a transplant operation. And the struggle I had to go through, I think, has inbuilt a great tenacity within me. I tend to look at challenges in the face and I don't get bogged down about seeing them. and I think I don't easily give up. I don't give up on people. I don't give up on challenge. I don't give up on any, especially on the things that I really want to do. I don't give up that easily. I would say
Hmm.
that would be my superpower.
As a result of being ill, were you like that before you were sick?
Before I was sick, I think I was. Uh, I'm the youngest child in my family, and I have four elder sisters. So I was really pampered in the big like
Hmm.
in my childhood, and I believe I did not have enough in my belly to look at challenges in the face and go right in. I think this experience which I had uh, with my liver condition has made me stronger in the head.
Hmm. So, with that in mind, let's imagine a 20-year-old Girish is watching this video now, and you can advise him that what you know now that he didn't know back then. What kind of words of wisdom would you share with Girish?
Uh, I would say live in the present, enjoy every moment you can, and probably use your time better. I think when I was in my 20s, I did waste a lot of time on unnecessary things. Maybe tell my 20-year-old self to use that time wisely because it's not going to come back, and
Hmm.
have fun, have more fun.
Hmm. You didn't have enough fun in your 20s? I thought that was the time you're probably out there partying, wasn't it? You're wasting time.
I did waste a lot, a lot of time. I think I could have done so much more.
Uh-huh.
In fact, the first book that I wrote, it took me 4 years to write it, and
Hmm.
I wasn't as disciplined in my 20s. I wasted a lot of time. I would only
Hmm.
write when I felt like, and that feeling only came on certain days of the week, especially during weekends when I did not have work in the office. So
Hmm.
yeah, I think I would like to tell my 20-year-old self to use time more wisely.
Hmm. Okay, I'm going to give you a challenge now. As a writer, I'm sure you've got inspirations as well, people around you, and you listen to other people's stories, being influenced by them. Um, I want you to host a podcast, and it's a podcast in heaven. You've got three guests that you can invite to sit in. It's going to be a round table podcast, Girish, and you can do anything you want, any format. It can be about anything, but you have to decide who those three guests are going to be. So you're the host.
Hmm.
Let's fill the first chair. Who's going in that one?
Agatha Christie,
Why?
because I'm in love with her books. I've been reading them of late. Read them a few years ago, and then I've started reading them again, all over again. I think she was way ahead of her time. The kind of brilliant detective novels she's written,
Mm,
using only the power of mind, and how these the clues were hidden in the novel, but as a reader you could not detect them unless you reach the end. I think I would
mm.
want to understand her secret so that I could write similarly in the future.
Yeah, I think she's one of the best-selling authors of all time, isn't she? She's kind of
Yeah,
underrated. She's not like a Stephen King or a J.K. Rowling in sort of
she,
media
she,
consciousness, but she's just
yeah,
there. She's been selling year in, year out for a
yeah,
long time.
yeah. I think in fact she is the world's she has sold the most number of books as compared to any author.
Right, there you go. I mean, that's a phenomenal achievement. Okay, so that's
Yeah.
one. You got Agatha Christie. Who else you're going to have at the table?
uh, Probably Keanu Reeves as well.
Okay, that's
Uh,
an interesting mix.
I because I believe Keanu Reeves, despite his stardom, has and despite all the grief that
Hmm.
he's had to deal with, he's managed to stay grounded and humble. He's always on the lookout to help people, and I think he's just an inspiration. Like he does not have that star. Uh, he does not believe that he's a star. He's solid. He treats himself as a normal human being. He travels in the subways. He eats normally. I think
Hmm.
he's a superstar.
Yeah, very much so. A good human being, I
Yeah.
feel. Good choice. You got one space left. That you're going to fill it with.
Uh, maybe mm, maybe Roger Federer, uh,
Okay.
because I've seen his game over the years, and I've seen how he's grown. Like initially, when he started in his career, he was kind of aggressive. He would smash his racket, and but as he gained more success, he became all the more humble. He became all the more grounded. So, what we want to understand as to how did he manage to do that? Because what happens generally when you get success, you kind of become a little more cocky, or you become a little more high-headed. But that did not happen to Roger Federer. So I would want to know his secret. Plus, learn to play those trick shots that he plays using those backhands and forehands.
That might take a few years to learn, I feel, the
True.
technique. But in terms of him as well, I know another good human being. He's like Keanu. They're very humble. I see him
Yeah.
interviewed. He's not in any way giving away, the star, the vibes to people. And it really, he just feels like a nice guy that you could sit with him and have a good chat with him and not feel in any way that he feels himself above you. So that's a really interesting podcast. I'm not sure what the content's going to be like. I think it would be a very mellow podcast. It'd be quite calm, wouldn't it? I can't
Yeah.
imagine that these guys are going to get too overexcited, but that's your
True.
role as the host to make that one work. Good
Yeah.
choices, though. All right, Girish, it's been interesting talking to you. Fascinating to hear a bit about your story as well in such a short time as well, and that overcoming that you've experienced. Where do people find out more about you?
I have a website. It's called girishshukla.com. It's my name, the complete name, .com. And my book is available on Amazon across the world. It's there on Kindle. It's there on the paperback version is available across the world. So anyone who wants to read the book can buy either the Kindle version or the paperback.
Once again, the name of the book?
Maroon in a Sky of Blue.
You heard it here. Everybody, that's Girish Shukla joining us from Delhi today, sharing a little bit about his journey and the book as well. Thank you very much, Girish. It was a pleasure having you on today, and
Thank
thank
you
you
so much,
for
Ram. It was lovely
sharing
talking
with
to
the
you.
audience. Yeah, excellent.